Hello, my name is Chris Ortiz, and I'm the Emergency Medical Services Chief for Albuquerque Fire Rescue. The following training covers the City of Albuquerque's Automated External Defibrillator Program, or AED program. In the next few minutes, you'll learn why the AED program exists, what's expected of city employees, and what to do if someone experiences a cardiac emergency while at work, and will be followed by AFR paramedics showing you exactly how to use an AED. This information applies to all city employees and departments. Why does this program exist? Well, the program exists because sudden cardiac arrest can happen without warning and can affect anyone. Early CPR and early identification and defibrillation significantly improve survival. That's why the City of Albuquerque established a citywide AED program in coordination with Albuquerque Fire Rescue, General Services, Risk Management, and the Executive Safety Committee. The program complies with New Mexico Cardiac Arrest Response Act and New Mexico Administrative Code, and reflects the city's commitment to employee and public safety. Every city department participates in the AED program. All city employees receive AED training either through hands-on, in-person instruction, or approved online training provided by Human Resources. Some employees are designated as trained, targeted responders. These responders receive hands-on CPR and AED training and recertify at least every 2 years. No employee is ever expected to act beyond their level of training. If someone collapses or appears to be in cardiac arrest, take immediate action. First, call 911 and activate the emergency medical system. Second, begin CPR if you are trained to do so. Third, retrieve the nearest AED and follow the device's voice prompts. AEDs are designed to be safe, effective, and easy to use. Always notify 911 dispatch that an AED is being used. Early action saves lives. After AED use and the incident is resolved, the AED deployment must be reported. Metro Security Dispatch must be notified. Department leadership must also be informed. The city's AED program coordinator will manage required reporting, equipment inspection, maintenance, and quality assurance review. Employees involved in the incident may be offered post-incident support, including employee assistance program. Program oversight and equipment. The city's AED program coordinator oversees AED placement, training records, maintenance, and coordination with the local emergency medical services. AEDs are inspected regularly and maintained according to manufacturer guidelines. If you notice an AED is damaged, missing, or in need of attention, report it immediately. Cardiac emergencies are rare, but when they happen, quick action matters. By recognizing an emergency, calling for help, and using an AED if needed, you are a critical part of the city's emergency response system. Thank you for completing this training and for helping keep our coworkers and our community safe.
How you doing? My name is Chris Cruz. I'm a paramedic lieutenant with Albuquerque Fire Rescue.
And I'm Jose Chavez. I'm also a paramedic for Albuquerque Fire Rescue.
And we're going to go over how to do hands-only CPR and also how to use an AED. So let's say you come up on someone who is unconscious. You can't get them to respond. You can't rouse them. The first thing you want to do is either call 911 yourself or have somebody call 911. And then also, if you know that you're somewhere where there's an AED, you want to have someone go and get that AED. If you can, if the person is not already on the ground or a workable surface, if you can get them onto the ground without hurting yourself, go ahead and do that. That's going to give them and you the best chance. And the first thing you're going to do, just to confirm, is you're going to what we call look, listen, and feel. So Driver Travis is going to show you what that looks like. He's going to look down the length of that person's body to see if he can find any signs of breathing. He's going to listen with his ear close to their mouth while he's looking down the length of their body to see if he can hear any breathing. And he's going to see if he can feel a carotid pulse, or even while he's looking down the body, if he can feel any breathing on the side of his face. If you're not sure whether or not you feel a pulse, go ahead and just assume that there is none, and start pumping on the chest. So Driver Chavez is going to show you what that looks like. He's got the heel of his hand on the chest, right there on the sternum or the breastbone. kind of between the nipples, but everybody's chest is different. And he's going to get right up close to the patient so that he can push with the weight of his body. You can see his arms are locked out, and he's just going to start pumping up and down. So we talked about placement. The depth, it's a little hard to show on this mannequin. It's going to depend on the person, but just think to yourself that you're pumping somebody's blood. So be aggressive about it. You want to go deeper than you think you need to. Try not to wonder if you're hurting this person or not. Try to hang on to the fact that you are there to preserve their life till we show up, right? The other thing you'll notice here is Driver Chavez is settled into a cadence. So if you're wondering how fast, it's going to be faster than you think. I could tell you the number. It's going to be 100 to 120 beats per minute. But Driver Chavez can tell you, kind of more practical ways to keep that in mind.
So one of the songs that I grew up in the fire service, kind of telling myself in my head is Staying Alive. So it's an oldie but goodie, but it kind of keeps you in cadence. And it goes something like, staying alive, staying alive, staying alive. So you guys get the idea.
Ironically, another one bites the dust. Also keeps that pace. All right, so if you remember, the first thing we said was to call 911, because now that at least gets us on the road and we're on the way, and everything you're doing is in the meantime. The second thing we said was if you have knowledge of an AED that's nearby and you can send someone to get that, hopefully by now that we've started, that person has shown up with the AED. So it's an automatic external defibrillator, and the way they make them nowadays, they're so advanced that honestly, when you open them up, a lot of them just turn on their own. For us, we have a trainer here, and we're just going to turn it on. I'm going to talk over it, but you're going to hear what's really useful, which is that once you turn it on or it turns itself on, it'll tell you what to do, and all you need to do is do exactly what it says. Meanwhile, Driver Chavez hasn't stopped what he's doing because he's pumping this person's blood, right? So I'm going to go ahead and turn this on.
Apply pads to patient's bare chest.
It said apply pads to patient's bare chest.
Plug in pads connector next to flashing light.
Which I will do. I just want to point out that the pads will show you where to put them. And at this point, I can kind of like work around Driver Chavez to get these on bare skin where it tells me to, right? In fact, Driver Chavez, I'm going to get right under your hand. There you go. I don't need to remember. I just need to keep composed enough to follow the pictures and listen to the directions. Bare skin, right? He never stops, not for me, not for anybody.
Apply pads.
I did that. Now it says to plug it in.
Analyzing heart rhythm. Do not touch the patient.
This is the only time we stop compressions because it's telling us to, and it needs to analyze whether or not it needs to deliver a shot. I'm actually getting around here because if you are tired, this is a good time to switch compressors.
Deliver shot now. Press the orange button now.
Don't be shy. If it tells you to do it, do it. I'm getting ready. The good form we just talked about, it told me to start, and I don't hesitate. I start. Same position, same form, same depth, same rate, and we just keep going like that. And these contemporary AEDs actually have timers built in, so it should be 2 minutes from when it delivered that shock to the next time it tries to reanalyze. And for you guys out there, we would encourage at a minimum, you want to switch compressors every time it asks to analyze. But honestly, call for help so that if you do get tired, you can have somebody spell you out even before this is ready to analyze. The one other thing we sometimes mention is that if the body is small or if it's a child, a lot of times the pads will show you that you can do an anterior, posterior placement, and that's just our fancy way of saying front back. So it'll actually show you on the pads that you can put one in the front, one in the back. Don't worry about it, just follow the pictures. Good. Obviously there's going to be a minimal interruption to compressions when you do that, but when you're done, just get right back on, right?
Lieutenant Cruz, what if I start doing CPR and I feel crack in the bones?
So that might happen, especially with some of our older, more fragile patients. You just got to keep going. Just remember that ultimately, you're there to help. You're trying to keep that blood flowing to their brain. You're acting in their best interest. So to sum up, basically what you want to do is you want to call for help. People around you, as well as 911, as well as somebody getting the AED, as well as somebody helping you get your patient to the ground on a workable surface, jump on the chest right away. You want to get the AED, shock as it tells you. Don't be shy about pressing that button. And then just keep rotating compressors. Do the best you can until we show up.